Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Wambui Kimani if you see me for the first time, and thank you for stopping by. I would love to have you here. Kindly consider subscribing. If you are a returning subscriber, I love you. Thank you for always watching my content. I really do appreciate you. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back with a new video. As you can tell by the title, I'm excited about this topic, by the way. If you have been a bride, I know you can relate. If you're about to be, just take notes. Some few things that might or might not happen to you. Let's educate each other on this journey. So yeah, we're talking about things wedding. Generally, the wedding preparations at the wedding. Yeah, the first thing when you're planning the wedding, if you can afford, just have a wedding planner, but it's not a must. If just have a circle of people who can help you bring your vision into reality. That's what I basically mean, because you cannot do everything on your own. You can't. You want to have a stress-free day, so just have. I thank God we had a very supportive team. I thank God. And that brings me to the second point. Delegate duties. Don't do everything on your own. Delegate duties. I know there's a circle, a group of friends or group of people that you trust who can help you do some things. Just delegate duties. And when you delegate duties, don't micromanage. I know you want to be like, please just trust them. They have your best will at heart. Just trust them. I'm sure even you, would you like if your boss micromanaged you on everything? You don't want that. So just trust them. Of course, you can work together, but let it not feel like you're micromanaging, because sometimes it gets tiresome and you're like, by the way, you can do it on your own. So just trust them. As you delegate duties, trust them to bring your vision into reality. Another thing is make your reservations on time. If you planned to stay in a certain hotel, or you want to travel to a certain place, do your research and also communicate. If you're making meals for you, also let them know what you're allergic to. From my experience, we got there. Food. I'm allergic to protein. Like, surely. Just make sure you communicate, do your own research, just avoid disappointments because they can happen. The other thing is just get home the previous day before the wedding, get home on time. If your wedding is on Saturday, make sure you're home on Friday early enough. The same thing if your wedding is on Thursday, if it's on Friday, make sure you're home on Thursday. If it's on Sunday, make sure you're home on Saturday. Just make sure. At least my mentor couple had told me, make sure you're home at least latest by 1 p.m. so that you can rest and relax. You know everything is sorted. And that's what I did. I got home, my wedding was on Saturday, so I got home on Friday by 1 p.m. and people were not, as in everyone was running up and down, so I had time to rest. I took a nap. And people were calling me. My girls were calling me around 6 when they are coming home. And the funny thing is that you don't sleep that night. And also, just make sure by that Friday everything is ready. Because even on our rehearsal, I think we did it Thursday afternoon. So Friday was just a relaxing day. I just did my hair. That was it. And we relaxed. Just make sure you're home early enough so that you rest, so that you can have a stress-free day the following day. The other thing is that stay to the wedding venue close as possible, or if not, make sure the team organizing will make sure you're in church on time because I don't know about you, but our church will pay a fine if you're late. So if you can stay together, then better, and close to the venue or somewhere in the middle, it will help you. The other thing that you might want to consider and also have an open mind about it is that not everyone will come through for you. Not everyone will. In fact, your friends, most of them, you'll go for meetings. Sometimes you're just you, the groom, and the chairman. Not everyone will come through for you, and not that they don't want to. It's because they have things going on in their life. So just have an open mind. One thing I learned, God raises angels for a particular season. So don't take offense because maybe you came through for someone and they did not come through for you. You might not know what they are battling, by the way. You might not know, and God will raise an angel. You will see the wedding will still happen. It is not about people, and that is where we go wrong. We put our trust in man, like, oh, this person should come through for me because I came through for them. That is one mistake that we do. Put your eyes on God. God will raise his angels for a particular season and for you. He definitely will. He has never been stranded. So just remove your focus from people and trust God. Just know this God who has brought you this far will make it happen. Imagine when you will have a stress-free wedding when your mind is fixed on God. But when it's fixed on people, you will stress, pressure, because you're expecting them to come through, which they might not be able to. Yeah. The other thing is go for fitting on time. Just go for fitting on time, because you don't want disappointments. I once was a bridesmaid for a certain couple, and they did not want us to see our clothes. So when we got there in the morning, at night, because we went to spend with the bride, and the clothes could not fit, so the fundi had to be called that night. You don't want that stress. Just let your bridesmaids, and even the bride, go for fitting on time to avoid disappointments and pressure that night prior to the wedding. And that brings me to the other point. Just know service providers will disappoint. They will disappoint you. They will. My sister was telling me of a certain couple. That day they were calling the caterer, like, hey, so the food should be ready by this time. And the caterer was like, excuse me? Your wedding is scheduled for next week. And they had paid deposit. You don't want that stress. And the wedding has to go on. In our career, we say the show must go on. So the wedding went on without food. You can imagine, you've traveled, you've come for this wedding, there's no food. Just be in sync with your service providers. Just know they'll disappoint, but also be in sync with them. Communicate, tell them, hey, by the way, make sure the exact date. Because as for me, I can say I had a different experience. In fact, I think all of our service providers, they just did an amazing job. From the caterer, the cake, the decor. Yeah, they are still the highlights of my life, because I remember everyone, the photographer, everyone came through. And to date, even if someone would ask me, by the way, I need a service provider for certain stuff, I can confidently give their numbers. I actually do, because they did an amazing job. Yes, just make sure you're in sync with them, but just be open-minded. They can disappoint. I've had stories of where, at least it didn't happen to me, but I've had stories of where the service providers disappoint. The other point is, make sure you're at peace with everyone, because the wedding can get you here. Make sure you're at peace with everyone. Also, if you can, involve family. There's an incident when we were planning the wedding, and my peeps were like, hey, by the way, why don't you involve so and so? And actually, I didn't have a spot. I was like, hey, Manze, how will it be? But I talked to my mentors, and they were like, you don't know, just do it. I don't know how, but they were like, just do it. Reason why? Shaming the devil. Just shame the devil and involve them, which I did. I was like, what can go wrong? I involved them. And everything was okay. It went well, and they were so supportive. They were supportive. They were like, what do you want? I felt like it was their wedding. They were like, we will do this for you, because they were happy. They felt involved. And that is the mistake we make, most of us. There's a way we want our wedding. I wanted it like this, so there's nothing you can tell me. That is the most dangerous thing, because now the devil can have a leeway. And you will find that these people you never involved, and they might be family, so you will live with them together forever. When they feel sidelined, they will always pull back when it comes to stuff involving you. And you'd be like, this person doesn't want to come to my stuff. But because of the seed you planted, and they were like, this one, she doesn't want me in her business, so let me stay out of her business. And that's what really happens. Most of the people, and wedding is one day. There is no way you can go back, do the wedding again, and redo that error, and correct that error. It is just done. So they will never forget. And now that brings me to the other point. Have a correctable spirit, especially as the bride. I know there's a way I want my wedding like this. And most of the time you find it's so hard to be told, by the way, just make room for adjustments for the sake of the future. Most of us, especially when you're the bride, you don't listen. You're like, it is my wedding, what are you telling me? Until that wedding happens and you look back, you're like, I should have done better, I should have known better. So I thank God. For us, we had our best couple, our mentor couple, and our marriage counselor to date. They've always worked with us. So they, for as much as I was planning the wedding, I used to talk to them. And even for me to involve that some peeps, it is my mentor couple who was like, shame the devil. Please, you have to shame the devil, involve them. And I did. Because you cannot do this thing on your own, and you don't need your peers. You need someone, an upper eye. Okay, yeah, I think that's what I'd say. Someone a bit, not way older, but someone who can see it beyond you, beyond here. Because we see just the wedding, we forget there's life after the wedding. Plus, the marriage is the most important thing, and the relationships you build after the wedding. Because you might find this person, these peeps you've had, you will need them more than these people you are impressing. Yeah, so. And now it brings to the other point. Don't do the wedding to impress people. Don't. And don't take loans. But they come to think of it, this is funny. Like, people come contribute to a wedding, and then you impress them with the money they contributed. But it's just so weird. Just don't take loans. Just do the wedding to your budget. Just don't overstretch. Don't break your bone impressing people just because of the wedding. The marriage is the most important thing. I know it might be the best day of your life, but trust me, 3 to 4 years down the line, you will not even remember. You'll be like, it happened, I'm married. That is the most important thing, the marriage. So don't break your bone trying to impress people with the money that they gave you for your wedding. The other thing that might happen to you is you might regret most of the buys. Yeah, you might regret. You don't go buy an expensive gown for the ladies and you lay it just one day. If you can, hire, by the way. If you just let someone make for you and then you return it, just be the first person to wear it. Just don't buy an expensive gown that you'll wear one day. Trust you me, you don't want. And sometimes when you're told, you'll be like, no, I want my wedding like this. I want my wedding. Most of the brides, hawambiliki, by the way. You cannot. It's so. Someone told me, and I believe it. It's so hard to advise a bride. It's so hard because there's a way. Of course, I don't blame the bride. Also, there's a way you've always dreamt your wedding like this. But there are some things I think we should be considerate and reasonable. When you go back, sometimes you don't even have a place to put your gown because it's so bulky. Like for me, I was so small, the bust could not fit. I'll insert a picture. And the waist was, I think I was size 24, 26, I don't know. So no gown would fit me. It had to be custom made. Yes, mine, of course, with a reasonable price. But if you can afford to hire, just do it. There's no big deal about the wedding. Trust me. After the wedding, you'll be like, maybe I should have done something better with this money. Trust you me. Don't break your bone. If you can hire some things, if you can avoid some things. I went to a wedding. I went to this wedding, and these people did not have tents, and they just customized a parking lot, and it was so beautiful. And you could not. Their wedding was, I wouldn't say the figures, but I know it was so reasonable because they readjusted something. So if you can cut cost the wedding, just do it. You're impressing people who wouldn't even care. After they leave, it is you and your husband. It is you. The other point is make sure you have an extra glam squad. Yani, makeup artists. Just make sure you have extra makeup artists for that day. Like for our wedding, the makeup artist came alone. And we had agreed she'll come with her assistant. And she was like, don't worry, I'll handle you. And we were like, okay, I know her. She has. But let me tell you, we went to sleep 3 a.m. So by the time we're waking up, we are late. By the time the moms are here to take the bride, my makeup was not done. And only like 4 or 3 girls had their makeup on. Remember, just have an extra makeup, glam school. Just have a makeup artist for the bride and a makeup artist for the bridesmaid, and just have assistant. I had never seen my maid of honor so angry that morning. She was so angry. She was like, who is the bride here? I do not care about the bridesmaids. Just make the bride. We need to go. And she was so angry. She was so angry. And now they had to do my makeup. Most of the girls, they actually did their makeup. And others took offense because now you've come. Thank God now you had to pay after. So some did pay. And yeah, some took offense. They were like, their makeup was not done. But you know, the problem is when the bride is ready, no one cares about the rest. Now we have to go. And we had to leave because we were running late. And you know, as we had paid money. So if we ran late, the money. So the mamas were getting tired. They're like, what is happening? Why are you not? The moment the makeup was done, they were like, let's just leave. So have extra makeup artists to avoid such stuff. The other thing is that wear comfortable shoes that day. Just wear comfortable shoes. Don't be like me. Wear comfortable shoes that day. Just make sure you wear comfortable shoes, and yeah, so that you enjoy that day. The good thing is that I had sandals for this reception. Definitely, I was ready to enjoy. And that brings me to the point. Make sure you have a playlist for that day. Create a playlist of what you want the DJ to play, because one of my friends, she forgot to make a playlist, so the DJ decided I will play my favorite, and she was so angry. But it is hard to blame. Just create a playlist so that to avoid such dramas. And that brings me to the last point. Enjoy your day no matter what. Yeah, someone had told me, if you see anything wrong, ignore it. Enjoy your day.